Your Honors, the position of that party was that the Constitution should be adopted the way it was, so their position was yes.
Let's turn now to 2007. There's evidence before the court, as we know, that your KANU party was originally within a party that had been formed called the ODM. Is that right?
That is correct. What, Your Honors, happened was that during the referendum of 2005, members who had joined President Kibaki in the 2002 election, many of them who belonged to what was called then the, if I remember correctly, it was LDP party. Though they were in government, were also opposed to the Constitution. So they also, for the Constitution, did not support the government position, but rather also joined us and supported the no position. And thereafter, the no's were had the symbol of an orange, and it sort of began to take the life after the referendum of a political grouping that had many people who had all participated in the no, and that is what began to take the shape of a political organization gearing itself to participate in the 2007 general elections.
Did you remain with your KANU party inside that political group?
Yes, we remained as KANU. We did not dissolve KANU. We remained as KANU as a political party.
Did there come a time in 2007 when you took your KANU party out of the alliance of the Orange?
Yes, there did come a time in 2007 where I won't say I, but the party itself decided that it was no longer comfortable within the political arrangement that was now calling itself the Orange Democratic Movement.
And what was the reason for you and some of your colleagues to leave that particular group?
Your Honors, the main reason was there was a feeling amongst some of us that the direction that the Orange Democratic Movement at the time was taking was a direction that was creating tensions, especially between communities, that was not helping put the country together, but rather there were rising feelings or ethnic tensions that were coming out as a result of different ethnic groupings not necessarily feeling, or there was a sense of animosity, if I can, just for the lack of a better word, that was developing amongst people. And like I said, KANU from independence as a national party has always stood for one united country, one country with a strong central government. And the mood that was within the ODM was more for a Majimbo or a regional type government. But the understanding that was being carried in many parts was that areas belonged to certain communities as opposed to a country belonging to all, and that was one of the major reasons why some of us did not feel comfortable within that particular arrangement.
The court has before it various documents which reflect that phrase, Majimbo, M-A-J-I-M-B-O. And the particular issues concerning Majimbo, if you could explain them to the court as to what you mean by that, what structure did Majimbo envisage, or did it stand for?
Majimbo was more for a federal type structure, and there is nothing wrong with a federal type structure, except for the fact that in many circumstances it was taken to mean the fact that there were sort of exclusive areas for certain communities, and that was really the key problem. Whereas our position was that what Kenyans were really saying they wanted is not necessarily to split the country up, but rather what we were looking for was more of a fiscal decentralization to allow greater participation, especially at the grassroots level in decision making. And we felt that that is what the country needed, especially as we were moving now towards an East African community. There was no need to split the country when we were looking even more towards greater regional integration. And that really was the issue.
Did you have any feelings whether that policy of Majimbo would encourage ethnic groups to be amenable and compatible with each other, or was it an exclusionary policy?
Like I said, Majimbo really means federalism. However, the understanding of many was not necessarily that we were getting a federal system of government. The understanding that was being carried out by many was that regions belonged to ethnic communities. So it was my feeling that were we to allow that sort of situation to occur, it would result in greater ethnic tensions as opposed towards reducing ethnic tensions and creating a more united government. And that was one of the problems that I had with the Majimbo argument.
Did all the representatives of KANU leave the Orange movement, or did some remain and not follow your direction or your party direction?
No, not all left. Some remained within the Orange, and in actual fact, KANU almost sort of split into two between those who wanted to remain within the Orange movement and those who felt that they were not comfortable with that particular argument. But there were also those who felt they were not comfortable with the nomination process that the ODM itself was following.
It's a matter of record. This was September 2007. So yourself and your colleagues who left the Orange movement, where then did you go? What was the direction that you all went?
Well, first we had deliberations within our own National Executive Council, and during those deliberations we were looking at the options of either fielding a presidential candidate as a party, or looking to see if we could participate with others And after lengthy discussions at the NEC level, we agreed that we could also open up channels and discuss at that time with President Kibaki, who was also seeking re-election, because there was also a good number within KANU who felt that despite the fact that we were on opposing sides in the 2002 election, the development record of President Kibaki over the 5 years that he had been president was such that we could support his candidacy for a second term, while we gave ourselves time as KANU to reorganize, to reorganize ourselves to mount a challenge in future elections.
So did it come about that the PNU was thereafter formed, in which the incumbent president, Mwai Kibaki, was the leader of the PNU?
Your Honours, after deliberation, our own National Delegates Conference agreed that for the 2007 election we would support President Kibaki, but they also passed and resolved that we would not dissolve our party, we would stay as a party, as KANU, support the presidential candidacy of Mwai Kibaki, but we would field our own parliamentary and civic candidates under the KANU umbrella. So we joined a loose coalition of many other parties who had also agreed to support the presidential re-election of Mwai Kibaki, but who also felt that they wanted to field their own candidates. And that loose coalition is what at that time was the PNU coalition that came together. But in terms of parliamentary and civic seats, we had our own individual candidates, but when it came to the presidential vote, we all supported the presidential bid of Mwai Kibaki.
You would have heard me in court yesterday refer to the 17th of November and 18th of November 2007, which was the time of the parliamentary and civic nominations for the elections. Can you perhaps describe what process that was that took place at that time?
Your Honours, during that particular time, what was happening was we had now to go through the process of nominating who our candidates were going to be for the civic elections and for the parliamentary elections. And at that time, there was a move and a drive under the chairmanship of the then Vice President Moody Awori to ensure, or to try and ensure, that as much as we were all putting up candidates, they wanted to see that we had a nomination process, because there was a feeling that if each party were to put up a candidate in the main election, that would result in a split vote on our side.